Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, the first US-built Sling TSi takes flight. The first all-female spacewalk is rescheduled for October 21st. And the Bell Boeing V22 Osprey fleet surpasses 500,000 flight hours. Welcome. I'm your host, Sophie Herlock. Sport aviation history was made last week as the first US-built Sling TSi was signed off for flight tests in Southern California. This comes after 8 months of hard work by the aircraft's owner, Algen Albritten of Jacksonville, Florida, who took temporary residence in California to work on the Sling TSi at the airplane factory's Builder Assist facility. In the week since its sign-off, Albritten and TAF's Jean Dawsonville have nearly flown the required 40 hours of flight time, putting it through its paces and boosting Algen's total flight hours to almost 100. Albritten is a new pilot, starting first with ultralights, then catching the SportPlane bug. He spent months scouring the kit industry before finally deciding on the TSi, once the 141 horsepower 915 IS became available. Albritten said he was looking for something rugged and easy to fly, and that the TSi is already meeting his expectations. We'll keep you updated on how he does with his new airplane. Stick around because Around the Patch is coming up right after these messages.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at some interesting news flying out of the aviation industry. It's time for today's trip around the patch. A fundraising campaign has been established on Facebook for Mitchell Melton, one of the survivors of last Wednesday's accident involving a Collins Foundation B-17 in Connecticut. The campaign was created by Tori Boykin, and as of this morning, $19,125 had been raised for Melton. Yesterday, Boykin posted to the page that Melton was released to go home, and his lab results and tests came back as normal. U.S. Air Force Major General Jeannie M. Leavitt, the nation's first female fighter pilot, will deliver the Day 2 keynote at the NBAA Convention and Exhibition on October 23rd. Leavitt is currently the commander of the Air Force Recruiting Service at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph in Texas. She oversees over 3,000 airmen and civilians, as well as thousands of recruiting offices. 345 participants, including 135 owners, attended the TBM Owners and Pilots Association convention back on September 25th through the 29th at the Denver Marriott Tech Center. The convention brings together TBM owners and their aircraft from around the world and is one of the largest meetings for a turbine aircraft type. The Philippine Air Force established a contract through the United States government to purchase a Gulfstream G280, as well as parts, tooling, and contractor logistics support. The aircraft will be configured for command and control missions and is scheduled for delivery in 2020. Gulfstream has produced special mission aircraft for more than 50 years. We'll be right back with the rest of the news.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Today is a new dawn.
With a new name.
Un nuevo logotipo.
A new factor.
Und einen globalen Kundenfokus.
We are Continental Aerospace Technologies, and we stand behind you.
An ISS EVA, originally scheduled in March, has been rescheduled for October 21st, now that there are spacesuits that fit the astronauts available on the station. The mission will be the first conducted by an all-female EVA team. Astronauts Christina, Koch, and Jessica Meir. Initially, Koch was supposed to do the spacewalk with astronaut Anne McClain, who has since completed her stay on the ISS. McClain canceled the mission when it was determined there were not 2 appropriate spacesuits available for the EVA. And while there were additional torso units on board the station, changing out the torso unit alone can take up to 12 hours. NASA said they do their best to anticipate the spacesuit sizes each astronaut will need, based on the size they wear during training on the ground. However, some astronauts train in multiple sizes, and an individual's sizing needs can change while they're in orbit due to the effect of living in microgravity. The V-22 fleet of tiltrotor aircraft has topped the 500,000 flight-hour milestone. More than 375 Ospreys logged the hours, including the U.S. Air Force CV-22 and the U.S. Marine Corps' MV-22. The V-22 Osprey is the world's only production tilt-rotor aircraft, enabling servicemen and women to conduct diverse missions throughout the most difficult operating environments. Bell Boeing supports V-22 readiness through a comprehensive sustainment effort that includes maintenance, training, on-site representatives, and data analytics. The Marines' Common Configuration Readiness and Modernization Program, the Air Force's Configuration Reduction Modification Plan, and nacelle wiring and structure improvements are expected to increase readiness of the V-22 fleets. A third variant of the CM V-22 is scheduled to join the U.S. Navy fleet in 2020. And that was our final story of the day. We appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and to check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. To get aviation and aerospace news any time of the day, just head over to aero-news.net. I'll see you tomorrow.